Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So I'm going to show you today how I print on fabric, and we're going to actually make this journal because it's really super simple and I just love it. So lots of you have asked me to show you how I print on the fabric, so I'm going to get it all ready for you so we can make a lovely journal, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to print. This is the Groovy Days and Boogie Nights papers, which I am loving. It's so bright and summery, isn't it? It's gorgeous. And this is another journal that I did before. This one has got some lovely tea stain paper. I've just backed this one with fabric. So these are the papers. They should be coming out next week. These are my flower doodle ones, which I am loving, and they print so lovely on fabric. And I've also just did a bit of the free motion stitching over these ones as well, which works really lovely. But I'm going to show you how to do this one today, because this one is really simple, backed with paper, and I've just got some white paper in there, so I'm going to show you. So let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do, we got some sticker paper, and I have some fabric. Now this fabric is really thin. Now let's just make sure I'm in shot here just to show you. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. I don't want it to go blurry. So what I have got, I've got some fabric, and it's just this old curtain fabric, which is like it's like a muslin-y fabric, so they're really light and pretty. But I'm just using these because this one had a big hole in it where I ripped it, so I'm going to be using this. I've got some sticker paper, so get any sticker paper, label paper, whatever you got. I've got a link in my Amazon storefront, and all you want to do is, you can use all sorts of fabric. Before I say, you don't have to use the thin stuff, but don't use it too thick. Make sure it sticks onto some sticker paper properly. But you can use all sorts of different fabrics, but I'm just using a really lovely thin one, and it sticks really well onto the paper. Now I've got one with a yellow backing on, so which is great for when you're actually printing on the paper, because you know which is the back and which is the front. So all I'm going to do is take my sticker paper, take the back off, oops, if I can, and stick it to the fabric like that. Now I'm going to just turn this over, and then what you want to do is just, the thinner the fabric, the nicer it is, actually, I think, like this. So you just want to squash it down, and it just sticks lovely onto that. Because I'm not actually going to take this off the sticker paper. I'm going to leave it on the sticker paper. Because it's so thin, when I tried to take it off before, it sort of distorts the picture. So I have just left on this one here, the one I did here, I left the sticker paper underneath, and you wouldn't even know, because you would back it with paper anyway. And I just think it's lovely, and it works really well. So what I'm going to do now, just cut around this like this, and down here. Whoops. Just we take the little bit of fabric off there, and what I want to do is just, I'm going to cut down the sides, but I'm going to just use my little Fiskars cutter just to make sure it's really straight, or cut really nicely. So, and then nice straight edges. So I'm just going to go down here, make sure we're all nicely lined up. You probably can't see the top on the bottom, but it's okay. I'm just cutting down the side of it like that. If you want to use scissors, but I find it easier to do it like this, because you make it and it's really straight, and a really clean cut as well, and that's what you want. As I say that, and it's cut off properly, and that's okay, because that's right on the end. We're going to cut that off anyway. So let's just cut this down. Perfect. So there we are. So that's our lovely backed piece of fabric, and it's come out really, really well. So you don't want any little bits of fabric or anything coming off the ends of these. Okay, so that's your fabric, and that just goes straight through your printer, as easy as anything. Now, I've already videoed me printing this off on here, this piece. So I'm just going to cut, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, and then we will be back. Okay, so I have got my ironing board out, my little ironing board out. This is lovely and printed really, really nicely. I've got my little tiny little iron, which I absolutely love. And what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of this, which is heat and bond. Now, where's my package? Here it is. So this is what it is. It's just heat and bond, and it's ultra hold. Which is just like an iron-on adhesive, and it's both sides, so it's really, really lovely. And this is what I'm going to pop on the inside. This is just a piece of the paper, so this is just the white printed paper. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this over like that, take my heat and bond, and I am just going to iron that onto here. Make sure my little iron is nice and hot. So I'm just going to iron that onto the fabric piece, or it's not well, it is fabric, but I'm ironing onto the sticker paper, because I'm not taking that sticker paper off. I'm leaving it on there. So let's just hope this is not blurry for you. So let's just iron that all over. I found this heat and bond is perfect. Absolutely perfect for it. So I'm just going to turn it over and iron over the top of this as well. If you've my printer is an inkjet printer, but if you've got a laser printer, it's probably better, because it won't smudge if you get it wet or anything. But I'm just going to sort of like heat set it a little bit. I don't get my journals wet anyway, and I wouldn't wash a journal cover, so I think this should be fine. So let's just iron that, make sure it's all ironed nicely. Now just let that cool down for 2 seconds. We don't want it to be too hot, so let's just then peel this off like this, and then you have got your nice sticky back. Pop that out of the way. Now I'm going to take this and put it over the top. Now I'm not quite sure which is, if it's upside down. No. Right, so which way? I'm going to put it this way round. I'm going to just, I've cut the little white edges off this piece of paper, but I haven't on the fabric piece. I'm just going to put that on there like that and iron over the top. Just iron that on, and it just works so well. It really, really does. Now again, if you don't have heat and bond, you can actually glue it. That's not a problem. I'm going to go and sew around the outside of this anyway. So just pop that down. Make sure it is all stuck down nicely. I love my little ironing board. This is just one of these little tabletop ironing boards, which I bought with this tiny little iron, and it's just lovely. And it's nice for when you're making embellishments, little fabric embellishments, and you just want to get a little iron out and just iron your fabric or things like that. I've found it really, really handy. So there we go. I think that will be it. So that's all done. Lovely. I'm going to just leave that to cool down and put everything away, and then I will be back and we will cut around the edges here. Okay, so there we go. That's all nice and cooled off, and it looks really nice, and it's really quite hard and sturdy. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go around the edge again and cut this little white line off and make sure it's all nice and neat and tidy. Let's pull this down here. Not sure whether I put the back paper on properly, so let's just hope it all lines up nicely. Let's have a look. Yes, I think so. Oops, didn't quite chop that little bit off very well, did I? I'll go around with that in a moment. And let's just go down here. When I folded it up, the other one in half, I did sort of like tidy up the edges just a little bit before or after you've done this. So I'm going to cut these bits off like this, and again. There we go. Perfect. Well, not really perfect. Let me just trim these little bits up here. That'll work. And this side didn't quite press hard enough. So there we go. Perfect. So that is nice and hard. I'm going to just fold this in half now, like this. Fold it down in the middle, not too much, because we want to have a little gap, because you can see here it's just a little white bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to level this up a little bit so we're all a little bit neat and tidy. Let's go this way. Go. Just stand up a little bit. Let's pop that, make sure we are all nice and level, like this. Oops. Lovely. Let's turn it over, level this up, just like that. Just need to take a tiny little piece off here. Perfect. Look at that. Doesn't that look lovely? I do love these. Okay, so now I'm going to open that out, and I'm just going to quickly go around the edge on the sewing machine. Now I've just done like a little ziggy-zaggy stitch around here, which is what I'm going to do, and I've got a lovely green thread on there, so I will be back 2 seconds. Okay, so there we go. So I think that looks really, really lovely. So I've just sewn around the edge. I hope you can see that nice little ziggy-zaggy stitch, which is perfect. Now what I want to do, I'm going to show you actually a really simple, it's almost like a cheats way of doing a journal insert. Now I have got this notebook, so it's just a plain one. Look at that, A5 notebook, and it was 55 cents. So You can't go wrong. Instead of folding up lots and lots of pieces of your printer paper, just buy a little notebook like this, and this is what we're going to use for the insert. Now this has just got a black cover, so I'm just going to take this off like this. It's stapled on like that, leaving the staples on there. I'm just taking this off, just going to rip these off. So keep that, because I've never got any black card, so that is really handy. So I'm going to pop that in my stash there. So this is going to be our insert. Super simple, like that. So first of all, I am going to just take this, and we want to get this in the middle, obviously. So I'm going to get my little scoreboard. Take that over there, we don't need that. Take the scoreboard, which way should we do it? Now that's the middle, so if I put that on there, let me get one of my little thingies here. So this is going to be the middle. Let's do it this way, probably be easier. So that's the middle down there, and then I'm going to just go, what should we do, just one across, just one little notch across, and go down one little notch either side, like that. Let's see if that's come over this side. Yes, I think it has. So that's the middle, and then we want, oops, down here like that, either side. So we've got a little couple of millimeters on there, just so we've got like a tiny little spine on there, which, let's pop that out of the way. We just want to sort of bend if we can. Doesn't have to be too perfect, but just so we've got a little place, because we are just going to glue this in like that, like that. There we go. Perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's okay, like that. So then our little pad of paper fits in there absolutely perfect. So I hope you can see that. So that just fits in there lovely. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this down to size. Let's make sure we are nice and level. Pencil, let me get a little pencil. So we want mark here and here, and then here, just along there, and we want to cut this off because we don't want this. So again, I'm going to take my knife for this one. You want a nice sharp knife. What did I do with my other one? Is this one? Not sure, this one might be sharper. Let's see. Well, I'm going to level this up on here, make sure we are nice and level, and do this, just do this gently. I'm going to have to stand up for this, so let's hope that you can see this. Let me just move it down a little bit like that. And make sure you have your little board underneath. There we go. That's the side, that's the bottom. Let's make sure it fits in there nicely. Absolutely perfect. And then we will just do the side. Little side pages. These are so much easier. Down there like that. There we go. Let's make sure that's going to fit properly, but they just cut and it looks so lovely and neat. Look at that, absolutely perfect all the way around. Lovely. So I'm going to show you, that's such an easy way of doing it, especially if you're going to make these journals and you wanted a nice quick one. So these will make brilliant presents for people, and the cover is really nice and pretty strong. So the next thing we are going to do, before I pop that in there like that, on this one, the closure I made on the side. So I've just made a little hole here and popped a little eyelet in there, just so the closure goes this way. But again, you can have it, and you can have it this way. You can do whichever way you like. But I thought this would be quite nice to just have it different. So I've got a little eyelet, so I've got my little green ones here. And let's have it, because it's blue on the back, isn't it? Oh, that's a nice blue. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Take that out, we don't need that. Let's get the crocodile on here. We want to go for, let's go this side, roughly the middle. Let's just eyeball it. There we go. Pop this in. Is this the right one? Put that on there. Squash it closed. Perfect. Lovely. So that's simple. Then I have somewhere, whatever I do with it, my elastic. Oopsie daisy. And we have the elastic here, which is just it's a 0.2 centimeters, so it's quite a nice sort of like size to it. So all I'm going to do, unravel it a little bit. Oh, let's just pop this inside. Wrap that around. You don't want it too tight, but you want it to sort of hold, stretch. So I'm going to just cut that like that and tie a little knot in here. Like that. Before you do it too tight, just make sure it fits perfect. And then you can tie that nice and tight. And then all as I do is pop it through here like that. Pop that through there like that, and then this just hooks on like that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right, now the easiest bit, now we are just going to glue this in, because this is already here, then we don't have anything on the outside. All I'm going to do is get some fabric tack, pop it along here, and then that will stick in like that. So it's really, really simple, and it's really good because this one is really strong on here. It's really perfect. So I love it. Love, love, love it. So let's take this, let's get our glue out, just go down the little spiny bit. I'm not sure how many pages this has in it. We'll have a look in a minute. Pop that down through there. And then just pop that to your journal. So that is nice and tight at the sides. Obviously give it a little time to make sure it dries properly. But just go down. Look, don't open it up like I did. Just stick that on there and leave that for a bit. And then you have got that stuck in there like that. Pop that on there and then you have got a lovely, lovely journal. Obviously you don't have to glue it in. You can make little holes in there. And tie it in if you want to do. You could take the staples out, but look at this one, you wouldn't even know, like that. It's absolutely perfect, and these just open out really, really well. So give that a minute to dry, and then you've got yourself a lovely fabric cover journal, which is a really, really quick and simple. Let's open it up like that so we don't squash it. There we go. Look at that. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Perfect. So let's just leave that to dry. So there we go, guys. So I hope you found that okay, which I am loving, because I just think this is really, really nice. So now I have two, actually I have 3 lovely fabric journals now, which are really nice. So please do give it a go. I will pop a link down below for the papers, and in my Amazon storefront you'll see the little iron in the ironing board and things like that. So I think they are really, really good. So thank you so much for joining me. Please stay safe, have a fantastic week, and I will see you guys soon. All right guys, bye bye.